Hello, my name is Douglas Block. I'm an author and mental health counselor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel. Each week we talk about practicals and coping strategies for healing depression and anxiety. It's Sunday, November 26th, and here we are. Started out sunny in Portland, but then it started to rain, and but we are in Portland, Oregon, so what do you expect? Well, I didn't hook up my regular PreSonus microphone. I forgot, so we're working on the microphone on the computer, which is not going to sound quite as good, but you should be able to hear me. So anybody who's there, just first person who came on, just let me know how the sound is. That would be great. And that'd be cool. Let me know how I'm coming across in terms of the sound. It should be, as long as you can hear me, it's going to be a little bit tinny on the playback, but oh well. Next time I'll remember to set up my nice expensive microphone. All right. Sounds good, says Demi. Sounds fine. All right. Hey, Mark. Mark Calloway just checked in. Mark is a lovely person. We just finished our 12-week coaching program. He did phenomenally. His mood has definitely been uplifted since then. And it's really good, Mark, to see that you've come a long way, and you're going to continue using the tools and the coping strategies that we learned in this video, not this video, in this program. All right, so we have sounds fine. All right, well, it's ready for a really bad joke. This comes from the Oregonian, our local paper. A man says, today a man knocked on my door and asked for a small donation towards the local swimming pool. So what did I do? I gave him a glass of water. Well, there you have it. Humor is based on the unexpected. So I want to start talking about Thanksgiving. I want to know how all you guys did on Thanksgiving. I did a video that I uploaded that I hope some of you will watch. A number of people already have. It's called, Can You Be Grateful When You're Depressed? It's a very important topic because on Thanksgiving, everybody was, I got all these emails from all these different sources about, let's be thankful, and it's a special day of thanks, and gratitude can help your soul and help your immune system and do this and that. Wonderful. But when you're depressed and in the dark house, can you still feel grateful? Are there things to feel grateful for? And in the video, which I hope you watch, it's only about 4 minutes, I say, well, yeah, I remember during my last depressive episode, when I was in hell, there were people who were reaching out and trying to help me. They couldn't do much, but at least I felt grateful. Hey, somebody cares about me, even though I'm in hell and I might not survive. I asked that same question to some clients, some of my support group members on Thanksgiving, and they said, well, I got a roof over my head, or yeah, at least I got, some food in my belly, or, at least the sun came out earlier today, or, my child loves me. You love your joke, says Maria. Well, thank you, Maria. Thank you, Mark. Couldn't do it without your advice. All right, so what do you guys think? Now, in this video about Thanksgiving, I said that when you give thanks, it stimulates your immune system. Your serotonin goes up, your dopamine goes up, your stress hormones, cortisol, go down. It does fantastic things when you can be thankful. But, when the depression gets serious enough, when it becomes something called black tar depression, which one of my clients wonderfully described it. You imagine you're stuck in black tar on a newly paved road and you can't get out. When that happens, your brain is so messed up, it's so dysregulated, it's so screwed up that you can't even hold a positive thought for 1 second, for 1 nanosecond. So if you're that severely depressed and Thanksgiving comes and someone says, what do you have to be grateful for? You'll probably say nothing. I'm in hell, I'm suicidal, I don't have much longer to live, there's nothing to be grateful for. And if you're in that state right now, if you're looking at this live chat, or you're live on the live chat, I will tell you that it's okay to be so depressed you can't give thanks for anything. That's where you are right now. You're not bad, you're not weak, you're not wrong. Your brain is ill, your brain is sick, your brain is dysregulated. So just accept that about yourself. Have compassion for yourself, love yourself. And one day, when the pattern shifts, as it always does, as it always will, and you start to feel better, the gratitude will start to come back. But please, if you can't feel grateful right now on Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, please, be kind to yourself, be compassionate with yourself, forgive yourself, and you'll be all right. I speak gratitude, but don't feel it. You know, Dave, I know because you're depressed. That's why you can't feel it, but you will someday. So, do we have any questions on mental health recovery? That's what this live chat is for. We've been on for 5 minutes. There's a number of you on here. Please speak about your questions. In the meantime, I might have another joke for you since someone said they liked them. Um, uh, he who laughs last thinks the slowest. That's cool. I like this. Money is the root of all wealth. A little take on the money is the root of all evil. I got a couple of pages here. Let me see about this one. Why didn't the scarecrow eat dinner? Why did the scarecrow skip dinner? You know, you should be skipping meals if you're depressed. You need to have constant nutrition. Why did the scarecrow skip dinner? He was already stuffed. All right, enough is enough. Let's have some questions. You're in that place, GMAC? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, GMAC, Dave Pickle, if you're in the place where you can't feel gratitude, that's all right. I mean, there were so many times when people tried to cheer me up and tried to encourage me that I was going to get better. I got angry at them. I got furious. How dare you say I'm going to get better? I know it's all over. I know I'm washed up. I won't ever write another book. I'll never get better. I might as well die. I used to say things like that to people and felt them totally to be true. And fortunately, they weren't. My brain was playing a little trick on me. And they were not true, and I did get better. But at the time, there was no way that I can think positively. So if you can't think positively right now, that's the state of your. It's like you know, someone who has cancer. You can't say the cells stop growing. You know, that's the disease, right? The disease of depression is you can't feel hope, you can't feel pleasure, you can't feel gratitude. All right. Podcasts, radio, arcade cup. What does that actually mean? Oh, Pickell. Thank you. Thank you for telling me how to pronounce your last name. Dave, where do you live again? I'm not quite sure if you're in the UK or the US. What are some good ways to lift your mood when you're alone, says Three Brand. Nice to see you again. One of the things I do is I put on some classical music, or I put on Stevie Wonder and get on my mini trampoline or get on my stationary bike. So one thing you do is use music. That's what I find. That really gets me out of it. Oftentimes I'll go out and I'll take a walk and do some deep breathing and get in the fresh air. So those are two things I can do. The other thing I can do is I can call up a friend. I'm alone, but if someone picks up, there's another voice there. Sometimes I call the Multnomah County Crisis Line to speak to somebody. So connecting with a person, deep breathing, walking, playing some music. How does that sound, Bren? Laura Robert Lee, wow, you're back again. How long should you stay on meds if they don't seem to be helpful? That's an excellent question. Usually you give antidepressants about 6 weeks, and if nothing is going on, talk to your prescriber and try something else. So that's the rule of thumb, but you know, I don't have a medical degree. I was going to be a psychiatrist. I do have a couple of master's degrees, or actually just one, but so, and I know a lot about medication. I've been doing this work for 2 decades. So, but I'm not your prescriber. I would never attempt to make recommendations over the air because that would not be ethical, but I can give you some ideas and you can take them to your prescriber. And my idea is if it's been 6 weeks and nothing is happening, it might be time for a change. Go to your doctor, go to your psychiatrist, go to your nurse practitioner. Do you know the difference between bipolar depression and unipolar depression, says Truth Seeker 1515? Yeah, I just did a video on it. It was uploaded a week ago Monday. It's called Do You Have Bipolar Disorder? So Truth Seeker 1515, the short answer is, of course, there's a difference. When you have bipolar disorder, you get manic and you go like this. You fly to the sun as Icarus did, only to crash later on, of course. You feel great. You don't need sleep. You don't need food. You have all these ideas. You're just on top of the world. You're optimistic. Well, when you're depressed, unipolar depression, you're the opposite. You feel like crap. Nothing's working. You know, no pleasure. So they are extremes. The middle is right here. This is where you want to be. You want to be a 5 out of 10 on your mood scale. If you're a 1 out of 10, you're suicidally depressed. If you're 10 out of 10, you're manic and you're going to crash. So you want to be between a 5 and a 7, where 5 is neutral, 6 is I feel kind of good, and 7 I feel good, and 8 is I feel really good. I get to 8, you know, when I solve a chess problem or I come up with a good video idea, but anything above 8 is a little dangerous. So does that answer your question? Have you looked into Jordan Peterson yet? No, definitely email him again. Me again, Tyler. You know how many emails I get? I probably get 50 to 100 emails a day. If you want to work as my secretary for $10 an hour, I'll hire you. That was a joke. But awesome, Mom. I hope you have a plan B. Bills got to be paid. Yep. So I want to. Plan B is to stay at home and recover. Just got out of IOP. Excellent, awesome, mom. How was IOP? That's really a good program. And where did you take it? I'd like to know where you took the IOP program. That'd be really helpful for me to know that because the IOP we have in Portland, Oregon. After you get out of the hospital or before you're going to go in the hospital, you go to this program at Providence Hospital. You're there for 2 to 6 weeks. 6 days a week, you can go from 4 to 6 hours where you have groups. You have a free psychiatrist. You have a free therapist. It has saved so many people I know. As a matter of fact, one of my group members who had a relapse, I am coming up with a relapse prevention video in 2 weeks, but she had a relapse, went into the hospital, and there was IOP to go back into. She'd done it before, and it's saving her life. She has someplace to go, something to do, people to be around, tools to learn. It's wonderful. IOP, Intensive Outpatient Program. So I want to know, awesome mom, Kaiser, Sacramento. Excellent. Good for you. Yeah, Kaiser does have some good IOP programs. I'm really glad you went. So, awesome, Mom. What's your follow-up now that you're out of IOP? I'm really sorry I'm not in Sacramento. You could join my support group, but there are free support groups from the Bipolar Depression Bipolar Support Alliance, dbsa.com, or NAMI, NAMI, Nancy, Apple, Mom, India, NAMI.org. Those two places, you can go to links to get free support groups. Probably should be seeing a therapist and a counselor. So tell me what your recovery plan is, awesome mom. Have you checked out one of the artificial sweeteners, Maria Malek Truvia? So tell me what that's. Yeah, it's not the end. You're right. It's not the end. Says Maria. I work alone, so that's what helps me. Podcast radio. I see. That's what you listen to podcast. I was thinking of having some of these my videos become podcasts. What do you think of that, Arcade Cup? What do you think if I turn my 212 depression recovery videos on YouTube into podcasts? I want your feedback. Let me know if you think that would be a good idea. I'm thinking about it. Lee McQueen, hey, you didn't quit college. You did 2 presentations with my biggest worry. I thought I'd act weird, but I didn't. Lee 1, depression 0. Another victory for me. Many thanks to you. Lee, I am so glad you didn't drop out of school. Oh my God. Let's all celebrate. Let's give Lee a high five like that. He didn't drop out of college. He stayed in school. He that is so amazing. And you actually did a presentation. You know the way that, okay, I have a video I want you all guys to look at after this is over. It's called The Fear Behind All Fears and How to Overcome It. Essentially, the fear behind all fears is not being able to cope. The fear that you'll blow it. Lee, you faced your fear, you did it, you didn't blow it, you succeeded. It's an awesome victory for you. I'd say Lee 5, depression 0. So the way to overcome a fear is to push through the fear and do what you're afraid of. Awesome mom, therapist outgoing, good for depression, to Kaiser yoga class. Awesome mom, you're taking care of yourself. What was your diagnosis? Was it depression? Was it anxiety? Was it bipolar? Yeah, Key. High five to Lee McQueen. Absolutely. Good job, says Mark Calloway. Yay, Lee, says awesome mom. This thing won't let me paste links. N-Star, okay, so if you want to send me a link, please. DouglasBlock@gmail.com, DouglasBloch@gmail.com. Please email the link either now or after the live chat. If you can't paste the link onto the feedback here, please email it to me. So will you do that? N-Star, please. Oh, there's a beautiful bird outside. Birds are really cool. People like birds besides me? I love them. Would actually make it easier for me. I feel I would get episodes in for sure. Okay, so Arcade Cup, you're saying that if I turn my videos into podcasts, that would be good for you? Okay, let me know. If you know how I can do that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll consult some people here in Portland. Face your fears head on. Your fear tries to kick your ass, but don't let it when you fight back. I wonder why your things are in italics. I didn't know you could do italics when you back. Lee McQueen, good work. Sundays and Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. East Coast time. Hey, where is my friend Mike from Pennsylvania? Come on, guy. Come on. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I'll have to send him a text right now. I may turn off back my phone on and send a text to my friend Mike. Something wants me to show something right here. Yeah. By the way, speaking of feedback, if those of you who are on laptops or computers At the bottom of this chat, there's a little $sign that's called Super Chat, and that gives you the opportunity to make a donation to this channel and to what I'm doing. I put out at least 3 videos a week. I'm going on 4 now. I'm going to do one on affirmations. $1, $2, $5, your name will be highlighted. And I am going to open up something called a Patreon webpage. Does everybody know what Patreon is? It's a crowdsourcing page where you can help creators like me, YouTube people, musicians, support themselves, and you get special rewards if you make a contribution. So some people have asked me about Patreon. I'll be making that announcement when the page goes live. I appreciate your high five support, all you amazing people. Lee, this is one of the services I'm offering now. These weekly live chats, twice a week, Sunday and Wednesday, where you can go on and support each other. That's what I do. I can't come to every city you guys are in, but I have support groups in Portland, Monday and Tuesday. They're filled to the brink, and people come every week, listen to each other, validate each other, support each other. That's what you guys can do on this live chat. And once I get my Patreon page going, those of you who contribute, I'll have exclusive live chats of 8 to 10 people. It's my own online support group I'll create, and you'll meet every month and be able to support each other all year. I'm really excited about it. I'll do this for a bunch of people, and that's the way to get the support going. Remember, step 2 of my mental health recovery program is to reach out for support. This is Wasu Pisak. Do you believe the meds and psychiatry work? I'm at that point wanting diagnosis proof to myself now it's just crazy, but I'm fishing to be in some sort of group so I don't feel alone. Of course. Okay, so yes, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yes, W-A-S-S-U. 2 things. Meds and psychiatry do work for some people. Meds are not as great as people say they are, as psychiatrists will have you believe, but they do work at least about 55% of the time. And for some people, they're a game changer. You have nothing to lose by trying, but you should start really small. I have a video called The Dangerous Side Effect of Antidepressants. If you start on too large a dose, you can get something called akathisia. In the meantime, yes, join a group. Join this live chat. Go onto an online support group. Go to depressive chat rooms. Find a support group in your area. You have to connect with others. Nobody can heal from depression and isolation. Seriously. Blessed are the misfits, for they shall inherit the earth. Thank you from Maria. By the way, Malasek, is that sounds like it must be Eastern European, or are you from Lithuania, or are you right here in the good old USA? I always like to know what countries people are chatting from. I had this guy who has been, we've had a really nice connection. I forgot his name, but he just emailed me that, no, it was a woman named Amy. She just emailed me, says she's from Australia. What time is it in Australia? It's actually 3 hours. It's actually 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Well, hey, you guys from Australia, you can tune in. You're up early enough. Hey, Scott Bauer, one of my favorites. We have a nice email relationship. Nice to hear from you. How are you doing, Scott? How's your weekend going? How was your Thanksgiving? We're 20 minutes into this. USA, but Czech. Yeah, I said it was an Eastern European name. What city do you live in, Maria? What else are we going to do here? I want to let you know about this book, Healing from Depression. Hey, Mark Calloway, if you're on there, tell them about this book. You just went through this book, this 12-week program in this book, 1 week for a different recovery tool. You've gotten a lot out of it. Your mood has gone from like a 3 or 4 to a 5 or 6 or sometimes 7. So I know you've gotten a lot of this book. Aloha, Evelyn May. Let me see. It's Hawaii, right? Are you 3 hours? Is it 10:20 in Hawaii or 9:20? I don't know if we're 3 hours. You're 3 hours behind me or 2 hours behind me. It's early enough to wake up. Elsmere, Kentucky. Well, God bless you. Kentucky actually has Medicaid through Obamacare, so that means that all of you people who are depressed in Kentucky should be able to get some sort of a health care plan and get some good psychiatric or counseling. Do you see a therapist, Maria, or do you need to see one? Maybe you're doing well enough if you don't, but if you do need one, they are available. They're worth their weight in gold. Okay, if someone is diagnosed with bipolar and won't take meds for it, denies that they have it, why is that? Well, 7-1, people deny that they have an alcohol problem. People deny that they have a cocaine problem. People often deny that they have a mental health problem. And that's just what it is, and especially bipolar people, because mania feels so good. It feels so good to be high and to be alive and on top of the world that you don't want to say you have an illness, because why would you want to, turn that away, especially if you've been depressed the last 5 months and suddenly feel great. Why would you want to admit you have a disease? But when you crash, that's when the admission comes. 2 hours apart now, says Evelyn May. I do. She's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Maria, you're taking very good care of yourself in Kentucky, and Tell other people about this channel. Tell other people what you're doing. Encourage people to get mental health treatment. Only half of the people diagnosed with depression ever get mental health treatment. And that's really a shame because depression is completely diagnosable and treatable. And everybody should have treatment because treatment does work, whether it's with meds, without meds. I'm living proof of someone who's been hospitalized 5 times and that treatment works. People can get better. People do get better. You will get better. Those of you who said you're in this dark place and can't feel gratitude, I guarantee you, I know what it's like. Recovery is possible. You will get better. My little YouTube thing says bad video settings, but you can all see the video, right? You can see things clearly. Oh, you do people about you. Well, remember healingfromdepression.com and my YouTube channel. Maybe I can go do some typing here. Let me see if I can move this with my mouse. Oh yeah, there I am. Whoops. Cancel. It's told me to send a super chat. Well, I can't send a super chat. I can't send money on myself, can I? Whoops. Sorry about hitting that table. We got a little bit of a. Okay. www.healingfromdepression.com. Healingfromdepression.com. Tell your friends Maria about that website. It has links to all my videos. It's a really good chat site. Scott Power, I'm the same as usually. Not really sure Prozac has done anything. Don't have Thanksgiving here in UK, but I've been giving thanks daily in my gratitude journal. That counts, of course. If you give thanks, if everybody listen up, as my gym teachers say, listen up. If you go ahead at the end, for 21 days, if you write 3 things you're thankful for, or 3 things that went well at the end of the day before you go to bed, or when you on midday, 3 things that you're thankful for, or 3 things that went well that day. By the end of 21 days, you will notice a subtle shift in your brain chemistry. This has been proven. They've done double-blind studies where one group, did this gratitude, the other group didn't, and the gratitude group definitely showed improvement in mood and needed less medication. So, Scott, you're doing a great job. Keep up the gratitude journal. Hey, Anthony Rich, have we talked before? I think this is the first time you've been on this chat. Is that true? I wanted to go to a depression group. My mentor says might be way worse off. Why said the people might be worse than me and wasn't sure if I should go now. Do you think it's a good idea? Anthony Rich, you should try the group. If you feel that people are way worse than you and bring you down, then don't go back. But try it once. What have you got to lose? In my group, we have people at all levels of recovery. We have people coming out of depression. We have people going into depression. We have people who have been depressed for months. It doesn't matter. The people who are feeling better are role models for the people who are feeling worse. And everybody gets something out of the group no matter what stage they're on. So in my group, it doesn't really matter, how badly or good people feel. Now, I'm running the group. A lot of depression support groups are self-regulated, so you don't have a facilitator, so it might be different. But try the group out. If it doesn't work, then, find another group or don't go back. So I think that talk to your therapist, but just tell her, hey, if it's not a good fit, I won't come back the second time. What do you think of that, Anthony? Let me know what you think of that feedback. Mark Calloway says, yeah, I just finished with my 12-week program in the book with Douglas Block. I feel much better. I still need to keep up with my exercise and sleeping schedule. It will be an ongoing process for me. That's right, Mark. Recovery from depression is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. It's something you do for the rest of your life, just like managing arthritis, managing asthma, managing heart disease. There are many, many chronic illnesses. Diabetes, that's the big one, right? I have a friend who was recently diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He needs to take his insulin every day. He needs to watch the simple carbs. He needs to watch the sugars. He needs to eat more protein. He'll be doing this every day until he takes his last breath. My brother-in-law, also type 1 diabetic. Another friend, type 2 diabetic, a nurse. So what does this mean? It means that with all these long-term problems like depression or conditions, it's a daily effort, one day at a time. Look at all my friends in recovery from alcoholism. My God, we have a number of people in my depression support group who are recovering alcoholics, recovering marijuana addicts, etc., etc. So yeah, this is something, Mark, it's not a one-time event. I'm going to move this little computer a little bit to get it more on. Just don't worry. That's a little bit more stable. Move this over here. Yeah, I like that much better. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions here. Scott Barr, with regard to emotional blunting, I think I'm writing a day starting with I'm looking forward to. I hope I might retrain that thought. Excellent. Evelyn May says, I really want to report that daily exercise in the morning has made a positive impact on my depression. I don't have a support group, only a therapist. Live chat is the only support group I have. But Evelyn May from Hawaii, tell us more specifically, how does exercise help you? I couldn't really survive without it, so how does it actually help you? Worth the effort to try new things to keep motivated? Absolutely, Mark. www.healingfromdepression.com. I'm still looking for my first super chat donation. If some of you feel generous, and we just finished Thanksgiving, a time of generosity. Here's my book, healingfromdepression.com. You can get it off of Amazon or go to my website. And in the meantime, let's tell a joke. What have I got here? What do skeletons say before they eat? Bon appetit. For those of you who know French. Why did the vampire, speaking of recovery from alcoholism, why did the vampire get fired when he was working at the blood bank? Well, he was caught drinking on the job. Come on, let's get a few laughs here. All right, Truth Seeker 15, Mom 79 has bipolar, currently inpatient following mania, depression phase. How long does it take to recover from depression at that age? Well, my mother got depressed at age 79 also. Isn't that interesting? She had ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, came out of it, and a month or two later she was fine. So depends on the person. If your mother is hospitalized for mania and she gets on the right medication, she could be feeling better in 4 to 6 weeks. So there's no one rule. Everybody recovers at their own rate. But it seems like your mom is hopefully getting good treatment. That's a start, Evelyn. Scott Barrow, great job, Evelyn. Keep up the good work from your exercising. Yes. So, no one's laughed at that joke about the vampire drinking on the job. Oh, well, what can you do? So, once again, go look at that attitude on the video I did on gratitude on Thanksgiving. Gratitude is great. I like the idea of every night before I go to bed, I have a journal. I write 3 things that went well that day or that I'm grateful for. It trains your mind. You know what? Whatever you focus on expands. The more you focus on gratitude, the more things you'll find to get grateful for. There's another phrase I'm going to bring up. Neurons that wire together. Let me start over. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So when you start to give thanks every day or do any positive habit for healing from depression, the neurons will wire together and you'll actually create new circuits in your brain. Just like, creating a new circuit in your house for a new lamp or something. It really makes a difference. These lifestyle habits make long-term structural changes in the brain. The brain is neuroplastic. I'm going to do a whole video on that. The brain can change. Stroke victims can learn to do things they couldn't do when they first had the stroke. Hey, Pink Floyd Brahm. Hi, Sir Doug Block. How are you doing? I hope everything is great. Yes. Really nice to see you again. Love your comments and your questions. Dave Pickell. There, I got the right thing now. I've asked, is this pre-verbal trauma curable? My psychologist thinks that is the root of my depression. Yes. Drink of water. That's what happens when you talk nonstop for 28 minutes. Yes, the pre-verbal trauma is the root of your depression. Tyler, $2. Thank you. Should I stay in a toxic workplace or leave? Tyler, if it is toxic, you should definitely, I think you should leave, but you need to, there's a rule. You can't take something away without putting something else in its place. Don't quit. See if you can get laid off and you go to unemployment or try to find a new job first. The best way to get a job is when you're working for a job. So Tyler, if you can hang on to that toxic workplace, hang in there and look for a job and get a job before you leave. That would be the best thing. Get unemployment is second. If you quit cold turkey and you don't have unemployment and you have nothing to replace it with, you could crash. Talk about it with your therapist and your friends. At some point, you should set a goal that within 6 weeks, I'm going to find a new place to go to. How's that? Let yourself say in 6 weeks, I will find a new place to work, but try to do it in a responsible, orderly way, meaning find another job first. So, Dave Pickell, yes, I had pre-verbal trauma. My mother was anxious during pregnancy. She fell down the stairs when I came out of the womb. I was crying. I was colicky. I couldn't digest the formula milk they gave me. So I was messed up, right after the sperm hit the egg, as I tell people. So this was before I could talk. I was feeling fear and anxiety. That's why I was an anxious, depressed child. No one could know why. Well, but yes, you could. There are trauma therapists out there. Read a book called The Body Keeps the Score by Vessel Vanderkirk. So go to a therapist, do EMDR, find ways to deal with your preventable trauma. Hey, John Point, how are you again? Can you say more about typical meds for depression when they're most effective? Uh, what a first-time med user might expect? Well, it depends on the medication. The first thing you can expect, John Point, is the unexpected. It's trial and error. The best psychiatrist in Portland once said, "You're all a bunch of guinea pigs." By the way, we're 30 minutes into the hour. Thank you all for joining me. I love having you here on this beautiful Sunday in Portland. We have 30 more minutes of questions, answers, feedback, and most of all, you guys supporting each other during the group. I think it's phenomenal the way you take care of each other and give each other high fives. So, John Poynton, so you might feel nothing for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then it might kick in. You might feel, if you feel side effects at the beginning, which you might often, tell your shrink, tell your prescriber. Oftentimes they'll go away on their own. $10 for IY in California. Thank you. God bless you. Wow. I will definitely keep you up to date on when I go Patreon. That is really kind of you. Please ask a question if you may. But anyway, John, if you start to feel agitated, tell your prescriber and go ahead and maybe they'll prescribe some Klonopin. But one thing I want to tell you, to avoid akathisia, which is an inner restlessness that comes with some SSRIs, start small. Start on the lowest dose you can and then score that in half or quarters. So if you start with Paxil, lowest dose is 10 milligrams, score it in half and try 5, or maybe 2.5, score it in quarters. So to start off and be safe, you definitely want to go really low and go less than the minimum amount. Then you'll basically minimize the possibility of unexpected side effects. So how does that answer your question? Who are you working with? Is it a medical doctor, a GP? I would not recommend it. I'd recommend a regular psychiatrist or at least a nurse practitioner. Okay, Evelyn May, thank you, Mark and Scott. I appreciate this very much. I've been dealing with depression and anxiety since 2013. I've had 4 episodes. Wow. Well, good work with the exercise. Evelyn, I've had 5 episodes of depression. I'm feeling pretty good. So it's treatable. It's treatable. There is life after depression, everybody. I'm living proof, and so are many of you on this channel. Mark Calloway says, I'm happy that I wasn't as depressed this Thanksgiving I was last year. I realized it as you were talking, Doug. Yep, well, you weren't as depressed. I've seen changes from you in 12 weeks. By the way, I do have a coaching program. It's 12 weeks. It's very inexpensive, and it's based on my book, Healing from Depression, much cheaper than therapy. Now, you shouldn't see me instead of a therapist. You should do both. You should have a therapist, and you should work with me over the phone. I answer all your questions, free feedback, give you additional resources. Mark, go ahead and tell everybody how great it was. You can be my shill. What is the difference between situational and clinical depression? Tyler says, thanks. Dave Pickell says, wow. Keep fighting. Elvin says, Scott, you can work it through. So clinical depression is a condition where you have 5 of 9 symptoms over a 2-week period or more, where you can't feel pleasure, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you're worried, you're anxious. So that can be caused by one of 2 things. The first thing is a situational event, most commonly the cause of clinical depression. For me, it's always been breakups with partners, loss, grief. The number 1 cause of depression, in my opinion, and I did a video on it, you should watch, loss of love, loss of connection, broken heart. Or you could lose your job, or you could have a health crisis, like getting a severe illness like fibromyalgia. Or you could have your child get into trouble, or your spouse might, get an illness. That's situational. Then the other thing is that there's something called endogenous depression, just depression from within. Now think about schizophrenia. That's endogenous. People are between 18 and 25, suddenly they start hallucinating and having voices in their head. That had nothing to do with any situation or stressor. That was their brain chemistry going amok. So sometimes with depression, people just wake up one day and they feel crap. Their brain chemistry got out of sorts. Nothing caused it. It's just because, people one day wake up and they have cancer, unfortunately. My 8-year-old great nephew one day woke up and started vomiting, had severe headaches. They diagnosed him with a brain tumor 3 to 4 inches right above his spinal cord. He was rushed to Stanford University, where they operated him and saved his life. What caused that? Nobody knows. So depression is usually situational, but sometimes it comes out of nowhere. That's called endogenous depression, depression within. Exogenous depression from without is the situational. So all depression is depression, but they're caused by different things. Does that answer your question, Robert Lee? Keep following. You can work through it a bit, claw your way back. Of course, that's what I did. Thank you. Someone gave $10. I can't tell from the screen, but thank you very much, whoever that was. Appreciate it. And please, you two who donated, please feel free to ask questions. If you need to, I will answer them immediately. John Point, thanks for your work, Doug. Thank you for your donation. Um, yeah. So Mark Calloway says, thanks. Yes, it was great. 12 weeks, although I had my ups and downs. I know we can get through this. Depression, Arcade Cup. I agree. I've gotten over a woman who ghosted me after months of intense emotional connection. I don't see her in our group anymore either. Which group are you referring to? The group that's online or the group that you attend? Hopefully it's the group you attend. Hopefully nobody online would ghost you. But yes, Arcade Cup. So how do you get over that loss? It took me sometimes years. I know people who have had breakups, it's taken them, 18 months, 3 years to get over it. So how did you get over it? Raphael, hey, if you had to choose a particular food or drink to enhance your mood, what would it be? Well, coffee, a natural stimulant, a natural mood enhancer in small doses is a very good mood enhancer. In terms of food, fish oil, walnuts, flax seeds, flax seeds and walnuts specifically. There's also hemp seeds and nuts and fish. Why? They have something called omega-3 fatty acids, clinically proven to be as good as for bipolar depression as antidepressants. So fish oil is critical. Anything oysters because they have zinc. You need enough zinc. You need enough iodine. Low thyroid, a major cause of depression. Anybody who feels depressed or is depressed, go to your doctor, get your thyroid tested. It's absolutely critical. You might have an underlying metabolic disorder, and all the meds you take won't do anything unless you get that corrected. So, fish, coffee is a stimulant. Green tea is also good, and anything that gives you pleasure. Any food. I love tomatoes. I was raised Jewish, but I don't know. I must have been an Italian in past life because you give me some pasta, tomato sauce, and Parmesan cheese, I feel like $1,000,000. So there are some foods that help. What was the book you recommend on OCD? Said IY. What does IY stand for, by the way? You don't have to disclose. It's an interesting name or abbreviation. So it's called Brain Lock. Brain Lock, like Unlocking a Door by Jeffrey Schwartz. Check it out on Amazon. It is the book for OCD. I've recommended it to many people. And if you're into drugs or medication, IY, something called Luvox. I'll type it in right here. I think I can do so. Luvox. That's an antidepressant that is very, very good for OCD. It's been recommended. You might want to try it. But also the name of the book is called Brain Lock. Thank you for the answer. Let me know if you get it. So, Raphael R., did I answer your question about the food or drink? And, Mr. Blue Eyes, I struggled with major depression for 2.5 years. Never thought I would feel relief from symptoms. Finally passed when they started to feel better. I've improved functioning. Okay, Mr. Blue Eyes, thank you. Thank you. What does the Dalai Lama say? Never give up, never give up, never give up. You didn't give up and now you're feeling better. That's something we can all, learn from, what your experience has been. So thank you. By the way, is the sound still good? I know in the playback it's going to sound a little echoey because I didn't use my lavalier mic, but you can still hear me all well, you guys? And what are your thoughts on the Wellness Recovery Program, RAP? Mr. Blue Eyes. Well, that's by someone I really admire, Mary Ellen Copeland. She was a pioneer in mental health recovery. As a matter of fact, I'm starting a nonprofit agency soon called the Center for Mental Health Recovery. We both like that phrase. Mary Ellen Copeland is great. She's done a number of books, workbooks, Winning Against Relapse, Bipolar. Anything you can find from her on Amazon.com as a book. How do you get a hold? I think she has her own website. Just type in Mary Ellen Copeland, Copeland. You go to her website. This is her deal. They actually use it in the federal government. Wellness Recovery Action Plan stands for WRAP. Mr. Blue Eyes, it's very similar to my, it's almost identical to what I've been doing. As a matter of fact, when I first wrote my book, Mary Ellen and I corresponded by email, and we both agreed we're doing the same thing. Have you tried her WRAP program? It has eating well, sleeping well, seeing a therapist, giving gratitude. It has a toolkit that she uses. It's really, really good. So, Mr. Blue Eyes, have you tried it? If not, highly recommend WRAP. All of you guys, WRAP, it's right there. Put it in your internet browser. It will come up. Wellness Recovery Action Program. Mr. Blue Eyes, let me know if you've tried it. Tyler Durden says, question mark. I'm not quite sure what that means. Uh, so did you get that book, Brain Lock, Why? All right. How about another something to laugh about? You know, they show that humor. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever done cocaine or methamphetamine. Don't tell me if you have. Why do people choose those drugs? Why do people do drugs of abuse? Right? Why are so many people, depressed or anxious, using substances? Because it affects the brain directly. The stimulants, especially meth and cocaine, they affect the part of the brain, the pleasure center of the brain, the nuclear accumbens that releases dopamine. But guess what? So does a good joke, and it's not addicting. And that's why, let me see. Hey, a soldier who survived mustard gas and pepper spray is now a seasoned veteran. Oh my God. Um, I stayed up all night to see where the sun went, and then it dawned on me. Don't you love puns? I do. Uh, so Three Bren says, and pain, but I'm not quite sure what that is referred to. Oh, I see. Why do people take drugs of abuse to escape reality and pain? Absolutely, Mark, and absolutely, Three Bren. That's right. You want to get out of pain? Take some, take some heroin. That'll blunt your consciousness. I understand why. I mean, it's very understandable. But the problem with these substances is A, they wear off. B, when you get back on them, you need more. And C, you become dependent upon them. And D, if they're illegal, you got to find money to buy them. So the urge to use substances is so understandable. Men and women, mankind have been using it. Well, I like a good beer with a Mexican beer or a Thai meal. I like a good glass of wine. I mean, it's wonderful. But anything taken to an extreme, even too much love, is bad for you. So, and some of these substances, like meth, like cocaine, you can get hooked on them immediately. There's a very famous journalist named Bill Moyers in America. He's phenomenal. He's been around for so long. He has a son, who wrote a book called Broken. Highly recommend you read it. He got hooked on crack cocaine the first time he took it. He said, "Oh my God, I have found God." It did something to him, and it gave him a feeling of upliftment that only could be gotten usually through years of meditation and prayer. Unfortunately, of course, what happened. He needed more and more. He got dependent on it. He crashed and burned. Then he got into recovery. Now he works for Hazelden, which is a great recovery center and a great publisher of recovery books, Hazelden. I forgot his name, but his last name is Moyers, of course. Was it? Look it up. Someone look up on the internet the word broken and tell me who the author is. Now I'm obsessing about the title. The guy who wrote it. Okay, it was introduced to me 2 years ago, needed to be consistent with it and made some minor tweaks, helped to be conscious of what triggers. Okay, so you're talking about the rap? Yeah, and have you been using it? If you go look at my book, Healing from Depression, you'll find a lot of the same tools in there. Glad you're staying with it. I asked if you could tell me how to overcome my fear of making interpersonal connection. Well, social anxiety is tough. I think finding a therapist who can help you with that, but essentially you start really, really simply, go to a group with 2 or 3 people, or just go up to someone you don't always say hi. I had tremendous fear of people when I was in college. I used to go to people on the mall and just see a woman reading a book and say, "Hey, that's an interesting book. What is it?" And I'd walk away. So very small steps to expose yourself in very non-threatening ways to other people is a good way to do it. If maybe it's because you've had loss, someone died, like your mother or father, you had great loss, and now you're afraid. Then you go back in therapy and deal with the trauma of that loss. William Cope Myers, that's right. John Poynton, thank you so much. William Cope Myers. So John Poynton, read that book. Even if you don't deal with drugs of abuse, it's a remarkable story of someone who crashed and burned and resurrected, which is my favorite image, the Phoenix. So anybody who wants a really good read the book Broken by William Cope Myers. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate you telling me that. Mr. Blaise, Tyler Durden, consider volunteering for a cause you believe in, and that involves interpersonal action in person or via the phone. Mr. Blaise, amazingly good idea. What do you think of that, Tyler? Go volunteer at a phone bank, or go volunteer for the food bank, which some of my friends do, and go and you'll lift boxes, and every now and then you'll say hello to people. It's pretty minimal interpersonal exposure, but you're doing good work, helping feed people. That's what Jesus said, right? Feed my sheep. I really think that as a society we have an obligation to help the least of these, to help people who are less fortunate than we are. That was an ethic that was really inculcated in me growing up in the spiritual tradition of Judaism. It's called Tikkun Olam, to heal the world, to heal the world. That's such a beautiful image. That's been one of my missions, is to heal the world, starting with myself, all you guys, and spreading it out. That's going to be part of my mission statement for my new nonprofit. That phrase, it's an incredible phrase, and that's what we are all trying to do: heal ourselves and each other. So yeah, volunteering is a great idea. Tyler says, I'm looking for a little more structure. I mean, just to talk to people, work and stuff. Well, what about doing some volunteering at a charity, Tyler? What do you think of that idea? That will give you structure. Scott Barris says, I have a persistent existential question that bothers me. I feel as though it doesn't align with my beliefs, but I can't shake it off. Do you have advice for dealing with it? So what's the question? Let me know. Dave Pickell says, I'm asking because I need to go down that road. So many questions. Dave Pickell, could you tell me what road you were thinking of going down? I'm trying to find your question here. Can you say more about experience healing? Oh, yeah. Well, if you want to go down that road about getting some therapy for pre-verbal trauma, go for it. That will help you so much. There's Hakomi therapy. There's a wonderful woman here in Portland who works with trauma, working with a client of mine 3 days a week. Go to psychology.today, find a therapist. Type in your zip code. They have an amazing list of people who do all sorts of work. That's how a lot of people have found my groups. Psychology Today, find a therapist. I agree, Doug, about helping the poor. A little less structure, it's all right. Thanks for the advice. Well, if you feel like you want to get more help and interact with people, go to a support group and just sit and listen to others. You don't even have to interact with them, like DBSA, Depression Bipolar Support Alliance. What was I just saying? I definitely had something I was recommending I was going to write down. Now I forgot it. It wasn't Tikkun Olam. It was, remind me something I was just emphasizing, I think, about overcoming social anxiety, and I just dropped it. 47 minutes into this. Thank you for those people who gave me a donation or gave yourselves a donation with Super Chat. When you give to this channel, you're giving to yourself, because I'm going to keep creating videos and doing live chats for at least another 20 years, assuming, Spirit lets me live that long. I'm 96 already, and, I think I can live to 116. Tyler says, sorry. I'm not quite sure what you're sorry about, Tyler. You're a good guy, so I don't know if you can extrapolate on that and tell me what the sorry is above. Just above, says Dave Pickell. Well, I'm not sure what that means either, but go find a good trauma therapist who deals with pre-verbal trauma. That would be an excellent thing for you to do. Healingfromdepression.com is a website, and the book is Healing from Depression. Time for another pun, I guess. I love this one. I love science fiction. Do you guys like science fiction? I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. I can't put it down. So my video that is coming up on how to treat bipolar disorder, very similar to how to treat depression. But if you have manic depression, you probably should be on a mood stabilizer. People with depression can heal without antidepressants, many of them. But in terms of manic depression, I think you need to be on a medication. It's really hard. What is preverbal? Oh, thank you for helping and keep up the good work. Yes. IY says, what is preverbal trauma? Dave, do you want to explain to him? Preverbal, before talking. Most people don't talk until they're 2 years old. So that means trauma that happened before you could talk and you don't have words for it. You can't say, when I was 5 years old, a bully hit me on the playground. No, you can't say that, because when you were 1 or 2, you couldn't even form concepts. So it's in your body, it's in your cells, but it's pre-conscious. So how can you talk about that trauma when you don't even know what happened to you? That's really tough. But there are techniques and tools that we've come up with in the 20th and the 21st century to deal with that. So that's what they're talking about. Does that answer your question, IY? And Dave, yeah, definitely. If you have preverbal trauma, go find someone who can help you out, for sure. I was wondering what your experience was in preverbal therapy. Well, I didn't do preverbal therapy. I've never really addressed my preverbal trauma. I've just tried to work it out through exercise and getting better. I've never actually, I did hypnosis once. I went back to when I was in the womb. My mother had fallen down the stairs. she was extremely anxious. I felt that pain in the womb, and I felt it and discharged it. So that was a one time. I think hypnosis is a really good way to deal with pre-verbal trauma if you know a good hypnotherapist. Emailed you a link to the Library of Congress video presentation of Broken by William Culp Moyers. Thank you, John. Google Meetup to find all sorts of opportunities for social interaction based on your interest. How does Google Meetup work, Mr. Blue Eyes? Could you send me something in the mail? I'll give you a link. I really like to know about it. I need to give that to people. Here it is, douglasblog@gmail.com. Thank you for sending that link to me, John Point. And Mr. Blue Eyes 333, can you send me that link? By the way, I had this offer on my Thanksgiving Day talk. I'm going to extend it to you guys today on this Sunday after Thanksgiving. If any of you send me 5 things you're grateful for, a list of 5 or more things, I will send you a free copy of my what I consider my magnum opus, my memoir called When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, written in 1988, 1 year after I got out of my worst depression ever. And I will send you a free copy of that through a PDF file, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, A Survivor's Guide to Overcoming Anxiety and Depression. Send me 5 things you're grateful for, and you will get that free ebook. Email me at douglasblog@gmail.com. Meetup.com, Mr. Blue Eyes. Oh, yeah. Duh. How could I have forgotten that? We have a gal in my group after going through a really traumatic divorce where her husband left her out of the blue. She started going to meetup groups. There was a meetup divorce group. There was a meetup for group on art. Any interest, if you go to meetup.com and type in your zip code and type in any interest you have, I don't know, stamp collections, astronomy, going to being vegan. There's a lot of vegan. Of course, we're in Portland, right? Portland, Oregon. But yes, that's a great way to meet people. And the person who talked about having social anxiety, I think that was Tyler. Oh, you're out of here? Well, hopefully you'll see this afterwards. Thanks for the donation. Again, really appreciate it. And anyone who wants to get more contact with people, go to meetup.com. An amazing resource. Really, really nice. So let me know, is the sound okay? One more I want to ask. I'm getting nervous because a couple of the videos before people said the sound was weak. I don't have my regular microphone, so on playback it's going to sound tinny, but next time that will change. But at least you guys can hear me now. Any more questions? Dave Pickell said, what is pre-verbal trauma? What is pre-verbal trauma, said IY, and Dave says, trauma that happens before you can talk. That's what it is, and many people have it, and it's hard to get a hold of if you don't have a conscious memory of it. Of course, again, if you remember that you were bullied in elementary school, or your mom got sick, or your dad got sick, or your dad came home drunk, these are horrible things, but at least you can remember them and talk about them. But when it came before your verbal experience, man, how do you get at them? It's really, really important. I'm going to call this woman, actually, who asked about Dave. Will you send me an email? I'm going to talk to a leading trauma therapist in Portland and talk about pre-verbal trauma. I will give you a personal answer about that and maybe some ideas of who you can find where you live. What city do you live in? Send me an email. You know my email address. You've done it before, but I'm going to remind you. And anybody else, it's douglasblock@gmail.com. Send me that email. I will go talk to this trauma therapist in Portland and give you her thoughts on pre-verbal trauma. I think it's important. I think you're not the only one who's gone through this. Danielle, how do you pronounce the last name? Is it Pat or Pate? I'm going to say it's Pate. And Danielle and I've been in communication, and she actually left me a voicemail. Very nice. She's in Houston, Texas. Whenever I come to Houston, she's going to take me to Joel Osteen's ministry so I can come up with some really corny jokes. Every time I try to go to sleep, my anxiety makes me feel like I have to pee. I get up getting 20, 30 minutes over the next several hours. Nothing. I was tested for UTI, and that isn't it. I'm uterine something. Urinary tract infection. Is that what UTI stands for? A good guess. I probably get an A on my test of recognizing acronyms. I play this amazing song called, it's many, many years ago. If you go up on Amazon.com and download or buy a CD called Angel Love, ANGELLOVE. I play that every night as I go to sleep, and it just wipes out my anxiety. So you need to find some music to listen to, some ocean sounds, some deep breathing. If you can tamp down your anxiety before sleep, you might even take something like amitriptyline, which is Elavil, which is a low-dose antidepressant. Find either a behavioral way or a medication way to, tamp down your anxiety before sleep, and maybe that will take care of the need to constantly get up and pee. 55 minutes. We have 5 more minutes to wrap it up. Oh, of course, Vancouver, BC. We've had this. Thanks very much. Can you make a video about your conference with the woman you mentioned? Yeah, it depends on how much information she gives them. I did do a video, Dave, called how trauma in childhood can lead to depression and anxiety as an adult. Did you see that video? How trauma in childhood can lead to a depression and anxiety as an adult. Please let me know if you've watched that. And yes, if this trauma person gives me enough data, I'll make a video. But if she says one or two things, it's hard to make a 4-minute video about 2 ideas. But I will certainly let you know for sure. Scott Power says, if nothing has objective value, does that make life meaningless along with everything else we do in between, objectively speaking? Well, you're right. Nothing does have an objective value. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle says you can't measure the velocity of a particle and the location at the same time. How you look at the world, the observer changes what they experience. So you're absolutely right. Your vision of the world will determine what you see and what you experience. So there is no such thing as quote-unquote objective reality. But that's the beauty, Dave. All the existentialists like Camus and Sartre after World War II said, you give life meaning by what you do. So Scott, if you believe that love is the answer and you want to be as loving to as many people as possible, like the Dalai Lama, that's your meaning. So we create our meaning. So don't worry about there being no such thing as objective reality. When the quantum physics demolished that idea, but energy and matter are interchangeable, said Einstein, and what we think about and focus on becomes our reality over time. So you have free will, Scott. You can determine meaning in your life. You can create that meaning. I may do a video on just that. You love that video. You mean the video on depression and anxiety as an adult from trauma? Yeah, well, you probably do relate to it because that's what happened to you. Mr. Blue Eyes 333 was on 50 milligrams of Zoa for 10 days and continue to have restless legs now. Yes, of course. How did you just go cold turkey? If you're on 50 milligrams of Zoloft, you want to basically go off, score it. You want to actually score it in force. You want to go 37.5, then 25, then 12.5, then 0. You probably went off it too quickly, Mr. Blue Eyes. And yes, restlessness and anxiety after discontinuing an SSRI is quite possible. So drink a lot of water, get a lot of exercise, drink some relaxing teas, and what else can you drink? Yogurt, anything with a lot of calcium. Take a calcium supplement. Talk to your naturopath. Talk to your doctor. This is temporary, but yes, I think the going off the Zoloft caused that. And seek some good medical help from a naturopath or a medical doctor about that restless leg. Mark Holloway, Doug, I'm wanting a piece of chocolate cake, and you and I both need it. What do I do? If you're trying to break a habit of smoking cigarettes, you want to get something oral, suck on a lozenge. If you want a piece of chocolate cake, go get a nice ripe piece of fruit. Well, cantaloupe is out of season. I love cantaloupe. Go get something. Fruit is nature's candy. What kind of fruit do you like, Mark, that's naturally sweet? A ripe watermelon, my God, a ripe peach. Well, maybe some canned peaches, or some food that you take pleasure in that you can use to substitute for the chocolate cake. That's what I do. Discontinued a few months ago, and the restless leg still continues. Mr. Bly's wow. I took Effexor one time, had a horrible reaction, and that continued for many months. So I know what it's about. Well, go to a naturopath. See if there's any herbs that might help you calm down. Eventually, it's going to go away. Your nervous system will discharge it. And I'd say that do you do any intense physical activity? That might help. The quantum reality answer is a good answer. Thank you, Scott. Well, it is the right answer. Einstein said God does not play dice with the universe, but he's wrong for once. The universe is not a fixed, static place. It's interactive. Every moment is full of possibilities. That's why you never can count a person out. That's why you can never say, I'm done, I'm finished, because every second, life begins anew every day. Don't forget that. What a difference a day makes. I remember in 1997, on July 14th, I wanted to kill myself. I went to a prayer meeting. 12 people held a vision of my recovery. On July 17th, my wedding anniversary, I woke up and the black cloud was gone. 72 hours, just, like Easter, right? I rose again. And that I've never forgotten that moment. So yes, 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 yes. Anything is possible. Anything bad is possible, but anything good is possible. That's the one message I want to keep, sharing with you guys, that there is never a reason to give up. That's a good way to end this, as we've done 1 minute and 20 seconds. Apples, oranges, frozen grapes. Frozen grapes are amazing. So I'm going to answer the questions that are here. I'm going to sign off. Remember, you guys can continue to ask each other questions after this is done, and I hope you do. And you can always email healingfordepression.com. This live chat will post in about an hour. You can watch it then if you want to watch it over again, or go to my YouTube channel, Healing Depression on YouTube, and you can watch any of my 217 videos, and as if you had anything else better to do. Okay, Dave Pickell, I started Fixer. It was the nature of your bad reaction. Good. I just got very agitated, Dave. Not everybody gets agitated on Effexor. If so far so good, Effexor is a really good medication. I hope you can tolerate it, because it could do some good for you. Mr. Belize, great practice. Stay working, doing other broadcast times. Keep up the tremendous work in helping us. Mr. Belize, I so appreciate your help. Do you think you might be interested in donating to Patreon when it comes out? A couple of bucks a month to keep this channel alive? I bet you would. But anyway, no, I really appreciate your participation and feedback. Remember, if you mail me 5 things you're grateful for, Mr. Belize, I will send you a free ebook. Plum 81, I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, long-term depression, anxiety issues. Can your book still help me? Absolutely. The type of lifestyle habits in Healing from Depression are good for mental health and well-being, no matter what the diagnosis. That doesn't mean that it's a panacea. If you have autism spectrum disorder, there are other ways. There are books on it that can give you information. But as a general wellness guy, as a manual for wellness, Healing from Depression can't be beat. As a matter of fact, if you get this book and it doesn't help you, send it to me and I'll refund your money. Seriously. You're awesome, Doug. Keep in touch. Thanks, Doug, says Cade. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you for this, says Scott. Okay, thanks for the encouragement. Oh, Dave, you're definitely going to get better. No question about it. And remember, email me and I will talk to the trauma therapist in Portland and help you out. I remember you said the Effexor was your wife's. Oh, no. Danielle, what I took of my wife's was Lexapro. So I had 2 bad reactions to drugs. I had 1 bad reaction to Effexor, which is prescribed for me. And the bad reaction I had that was my wife's was Lexapro. I had no business taking it, but it helped so many people. So that's the story right there. Evelyn May concludes with, yes, there's never any reason to give up. Thanks, everyone, for your support. Doug, thank you for all that you do, helping us on the road to recovery. Aloha. Well, Evelyn, I'm glad that people gave you high fives from your exercise and what's going on with you. Thank you. You are a blessing, says IY. Still let me know what IY stands for. I continue. IY, send me an email. Ask me questions. Let's keep this up. Next video chat is 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, which is what, November 6th, 7, 8, 9, November 29th. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, noon Pacific Time. My videos come up every Monday. This Monday and tomorrow, it's about how to treat bipolar disorder. And I'm going to start uploading books of videos of healing affirmations, healing quotations, once I figure out how to use Final Cut Pro. So there's much coming on. I would love a copy of the one-on-one with the trauma therapist. Well, I don't have a one-on-one with a trauma therapist, do I? Scott, I'll ask this person if he can give you her phone number. You could call her over the phone, perhaps, and have a little phone session with her. Maybe she'll, give you a good break on the price. But I think you need to get in contact with a good trauma therapist, and this person has been highly recommended. So, Scott, send me an email today, and I'll talk to this woman the next couple of days, and maybe I'll hook you up. Goodbye, everybody. God bless. Continue the chat with each other. And until we meet again, which will be hopefully Wednesday at noon, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.